Quantum physics is one of the most rigorously researched and tested branches of science through which we human beings have discovered something that completely changes the way we think about our own perceived reality. According to quantum physics, this universe around us, at its most deepest and fundamental level, is not made of solid matter, but rather energy and information only existing as probability and possibility until we observe it. This means something extremely crucial for you and your life, something that I think we should have been taught in school. First, I want to talk about what is the quantum field. It's a very great buzzword, but what does it actually mean? Most people think that the reality that we perceive around us is fixed, meaning that the things we always see exist no matter what. For example, the chair that is in your room will always be there even if you're not in the room. That the world is out there and you're just in a box experiencing the world. But quantum physics has something different to say about this whole idea that we have. When we dive to the subatomic level, which is the level below our atoms, below the protons and neutrons, at the level of quantum particles, matter does not behave like solid stuff. What matter actually is a wave of probability and possibility. Until we are able to measure a quantum particle, there is no fixed location for it. Until this particle is observed, it exists in something called a superposition, which simply means that this particle exists in all states simultaneously. It is only when we arrive at the moment of observation do these particles take form into one specific state. I want you to think of it this way. The quantum field is one big invisible field of energy. This field of energy is what underlies all of our perceived reality. In a simpler example, think of it like an ocean. The physical matter that you can see and touch are like the waves of the ocean. These waves look like they're separate from one another, but underlying, it's only one ocean. The quantum field is just like that of water, and your person is not separate from it. Now, why is this important for your life? What makes this so crucial for you as a human being? When we talk about life in general, or what we were taught, we are seen as the observer. If you remember what I said before, in quantum physics, the act of observation, the act of measurement, literally defines the outcome of a quantum event. A very famous experiment that they did to prove this is called the double slit experiment. What they did in this experiment is that you fire electrons through two slits in a barrier. When nobody is watching, when there's no observation being made, these electrons behave like waves. There is an interference pattern on the screen that is placed behind the barrier, which is constant with the behavior of waves. However, the moment they set up a detector to observe which slit the electron passes through, the moment observation takes place, the interference pattern suddenly disappears. The electrons no longer behave like waves, but rather than particles. The simple act of observation changes the outcome of the whole experiment. Werner Heisenberg, one of the founders of quantum mechanics, put it like this: the universe is not just made up of things. It is made up of possibility, and observation is what turns that possibility into a reality. The way you observe the world around you, the places where your attention goes, where your consciousness resides, is not just a passive phenomena, but rather it is the key to creation. Joe Dispenza, another author and researcher, has spent the last several decades translating the science of quantum physics into a framework that we can use ourselves to change our own lives. This is his main point. If the quantum field is a field of infinite possibility, if your attention and observation has the power to collapse these possibilities into some type of reality, then your state of consciousness is not affecting just how you feel, but rather it is affecting what becomes real around you. Most people around us interact with this quantum field from a state of lack, fear, and despair. Therefore, whatever possibility around them that they collapse into will be a direct reflection of said internal state. This isn't happening because the universe is punishing them, but rather because their consciousness is the instrument through which possibility becomes a reality. And what do you think a fear-based instrument would create? A fear-based reality. His further research also shows us something quite interesting. The people that he was working with that consistently made an effort to elevate their consciousness, who really tried to access somewhat elevated states of consciousness and tried to really hold them, these people showed measurable changes in their biology, brain activity, and life in general. I'm not telling you these things to preach. I'm not telling you these things to just yap. I'm telling you this because you need to understand how truly powerful it is once you tap into this quantum field, once you really tap into your state of consciousness. Now that we've talked about all the science, I've told you all the basics of the quantum field, who said what, who researched what, why it can be beneficial for you. I want to get a little bit personal. I want to talk about where you could apply this in your own life, the version of the life you want to live, the financial circumstance, the relationship with your big bad crush, the experiences you want, or everything that you strive for. All of that is not just a wish. It's not just something that is something out there in the future, something that's unreachable. It's not like that. The truth is that all these things actually current, all of these things exist in this present moment as possibility and probability, right? Just like the quantum field works. They're not some unreachable goals that are like that you have to wait to like be worthy of or to like stumble upon. All of this stuff is already here, just in the form of possibility and probability. All of this exists as potential that is waiting to be tapped into the reality by the right observer. And who's the observer in this situation? You are the observer of your own life. You have the power to change all this. But what's the catch? The truth is, you cannot collapse all these possibilities from an old state of consciousness. You can't collapse new possibilities from an old state of consciousness. Why? Because the answer is a little bit obvious. If your dominant state of consciousness is a consciousness of lack, it's moving from a place of I don't have, what you think is going to happen? Your reality will also be a reality of lack. If your dominant state of consciousness is fear or anxiety, your reality will also be ran by fear and anxiety. That is also what you will attract. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you want, but it rather responds to what you are. It is a direct reflection of what you are from the inside. This means that the real work that you have to do is not about trying harder, putting in more hours. It's not about changing things in the external world. The real work is changing the state of consciousness of the observer, changing your state of consciousness. You have to become the version of yourself whose observation naturally belongs to the reality of the person that you want to be. You are not a passive experiencer of a fixed reality. You're not meant to just watch things happen and not do anything. You are an active participant in an unfolding reality. Take charge, man. Do the things you love. Do the things you want to do. Do the things you tell people that you will do. Your state of consciousness right now, today, in this day, while you're watching me yap to you, that right there is the most important variable in what your reality looks like. Take charge of your life. Everything is in your hands. You have the power to change your life. Stop waiting for someone. Stop waiting. Do it now. Do it today. All right? If you learned something today, drop a sub for more content like this. And if there was a shift in your mindset, if you're feeling some type of way, drop it in the comments. I would love to talk to y'all, man. And just remember, the time is now. Take action now. I love y'all. Everyone take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the next one.